So here we are going to talk about polymorphism, but before that, there was a task that is pending from previous video where we have to create another class that should be employee class, right? And that should be exactly like the student class. It should be inherited from the human class. So here I'll simply copy and paste the student class again, and I'll make changes in it, right? So instead of student, I'll call it employee. And here, instead of marks, I'll pass salary to it. And here, I'll also write salary. And it should be instantiated with salary. Okay. The name and age is going to go to the superclass, which is the human class in this case as well. Then print details should be print student details should be print employee details, right? And yeah, we are good to go. Yeah, instead of self.marks, it should be self.salary. So I think we are good to go, good to go, good to go. So here, now E1, employee 1 is going to be the employee, and employee name is going to be, let's say, employee. Age is going to be 35, and salary is going to be, let's say, 100,000. Okay. And instead of printing out S1 dot print student details, I'll be saying E1 dot print employee details. Okay. So running it. So first of all, it is saying student constructor is working, and then it is saying human constructor is working, which is for this object. Now that makes sense. Then it is saying student constructor is working. Why student? Oh, because I did not update over here. So it should be employee. It happens when you're simply copying and pasting the work. So running it again. So student and human constructor is working. That makes sense for this line. And then it is saying employee constructor is working. So now this object is being created. And then again, human constructor is working because human is the parent class of this employee as well. And then the information of employee is being shown. So name is employee, age is 35, and marks are these many, right? So this is what we call inheritance. So employee and student class, both are being inherited from human class. Now, I'm going to copy this code, this whole code, because I'm going to reuse it for to explain polymorphism as well. So polymorphism. Okay. So what is polymorphism? So polymorphism's concept is quite simple. Here I have a generic function which is called print details, right? Now here I'm calling it as print student details. Here I'm calling it as print employee details. Well, this is a generic function. It should not be like that. It should be simply like print details. It should be simply like print details, right? But the thing is, now we have the same function in all three classes, right? How would, let's say, code figure out if we have called print detail, this print detail, this print detail, or this print detail? So this is the application of polymorphism. This thing will be handled by Python itself. For example, here we have two objects, S1 and S2, and both of these objects have functions called print details, right? Now, if I call the function, let's say S1 dot print details, it should particularly go to student's print detail function. And if I say E1, let's say E1 dot print details, it should particularly go to the E1 or employee's print detail function. Now the thing is, here I'm calling it as self.print detail, which means that it will, obviously it has two print details. This one itself and its parent's print detail, which is this one. It is coming from the human class, right? In order to avoid this confusion, rather than self, I'll call it super. So now things should be clear that here I'm calling the print detail of the parent class, and same should be done over here, super.print details, right? Cool. Now, if I say e1.print detail, which means employees print detail, it should print the salary obviously, and it should go to the parent function. Now, when it will go to the parent function, which is this human class, how would this parent function know if I have to print details of an employee or a student? Because this human is being inherited by both of the classes. So that is the beauty of polymorphism. It will be handled by Python, right? So if I say e1.print details, running it, so it is printing details of the employee. And if I say s1.print details, it is printing out the details of the student. Oh, this information is coming from the constructors. We're going to ignore that. This information is important, right? So now we don't have to write different names for every class. Same name, different names for every function in the same class, in the different classes, right? Same name can also work if its functionality is same. Since here, we're simply printing details. So printing details will work perfectly fine like this as well. So I hope the concept of polymorphism is also clear now. We are only left with the abstractions concept, which is very simple, and then we'll go towards our mini project.